Okay, so we're going on a deep dive today.
It's a deep dive.
Yeah, into healing with food.
Oh, okay.
You know how we're always hearing about like all the amazing things food can do?
Right.
But what if our food is actually like making us sicker?
Yeah.
So we're going to dive into some stuff today that's going to,
Interesting.
yeah,
I like it.
raise some questions about what we're actually putting in our bodies.
Yeah, there's definitely that disconnect between the abundance of food that's available and what it's actually doing for us.
Yeah, and some of the things I was reading about,
Oh, yeah.
like in these sources, are kind of scary.
Mhm.
We're talking pesticides, heavy metals,
Right.
GMOs.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like a sci-fi movie,
It does.
but it's actually in our food.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you actually start to think about it and look into it. Like,
Yeah.
it makes you wonder, like, how is this impacting our health
Right.
long term?
Like one article was talking about how apples,
Okay.
they coat them in wax
Right.
to make them look all shiny and pretty.
Yeah.
But then that wax can trap pesticides
Oh, wow.
and it doesn't let the apple breathe.
Interesting.
And then there's this whole thing about nutrient depletion,
Yes.
like our veggies.
They're just not as nutrient dense
Yeah.
as they used to be.
Yeah.
And it's really because our agricultural practices have changed so much.
Right.
You know, we've gotten so efficient at growing food,
Yeah.
but we've lost a lot of the nutrients in the soil.
Oh, so it's like,
So we're getting quantity,
Yeah.
we're not quality.
yeah, so it's like we're kind of
Exactly.
starving.
Yeah, and these sources are really pointing to that being a potential factor in so many diseases.
Yeah.
Diabetes, heart disease, even cancer.
Wow. So it's kind of scary
It is.
to think that the food that we're eating to nourish us
Yeah.
is actually making us sick.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of what it's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, so if we're not supposed to eat that stuff,
Right.
what are we supposed to eat?
Well, these sources all point to whole foods and herbs as
Uh-huh.
kind of the answer. Like what?
So, you know, your dark leafy greens,
Okay.
your kale,
Yeah.
your berries,
Okay.
things like that.
Yeah.
And then also spices, turmeric, ginger.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard so much about those things.
Yeah, they're very popular.
But like sometimes it just sounds like a bunch of health buzzwords.
Yeah.
Like what is it about those specific things
Yes.
that actually makes them so good for us?
So there's actually real science behind it.
Okay.
It's not just like a trend.
Okay.
So, for example, chlorophyll,
Chlorophyll.
which is what gives the leafy greens their green color.
Yeah.
That's a potent detoxifier.
Oh, wow.
So it helps your body get rid of all the bad stuff.
Oh, interesting.
And then there are antioxidants. They're like little warriors in your body that fight off free radicals,
Right.
which are these unstable molecules that can cause damage to your cells.
Oh, so they like protect us.
Yeah, they protect you from aging,
Okay.
disease, all that bad stuff.
Interesting. Okay, so it's not just like,
Eat your greens because your mom told you to.
yeah,
There's actually
there's a reason.
a real
A
reason.
reason, yeah. And, you know, each food kind of has its own superpower. Turmeric, for example,
Yeah.
is a powerful anti-inflammatory.
Oh,
So you can add that to smoothies.
okay.
You can make a golden milk latte.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah.
And then ginger,
Ginger, what about that one?
that's really good for digestion.
Yeah, I was thinking that for like an upset stomach or something.
Exactly. Can soothe nausea, bloating.
Oh.
You can use it in stir fries,
Okay.
pea smoothies.
So many ways to use these things.
So many ways.
You know what's interesting as we're talking about this?
Yeah.
It's like we're not just talking about food.
Right.
It's like we're talking about giving our bodies the tools they need
Yes.
to actually heal.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's really about supporting our bodies
Yeah.
in the best way possible.
Yeah. And you know, it's not just about physical health.
Right.
There's a lot of research now about gut health
Mm-hmm.
and how that impacts our mental and emotional well-being.
The gut is so important.
Wait, the gut?
Yes.
Like our stomach?
Well, yeah, your stomach's part of it.
Yeah.
But it's really like your whole digestive system.
Okay.
You know, you've probably heard people talk about the gut microbiome.
That gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
But like, I don't really know what that means.
So basically, it's like this whole community of bacteria
Okay.
that live in your digestive tract.
Uh-huh.
Trillions of them.
Wow.
And they play a huge role in your overall health. Like
Oh.
everything from nutrient absorption
Mhm.
to immune function.
Okay.
It can even impact your mood.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Okay, so our stomach can like,
Well, your gut
can,
can impact how we feel.
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of like a second brain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they call it that sometimes.
Okay, so what can we do to like make sure that we have a healthy gut?
So that's where probiotics and prebiotics come in.
Okay, I've heard those words before.
Yeah, so probiotics are like
What are they?
introducing good bacteria into your gut.
Oh, okay.
Like reinforcements for the good guys.
Okay, and how do we get those?
Fermented foods are a really good source of probiotics.
Okay.
Things like sauerkraut,
Okay.
kimchi yogurt,
Yeah.
kombucha.
So that's why those things are considered so healthy.
Exactly.
Right.
And then prebiotics.
Prebiotics?
Those are like food for the good bacteria.
Okay.
So they help them thrive.
Okay.
So things like garlic,
Yeah.
onions, leeks, asparagus, bananas
Wow. So like just eating an onion can
help your gut.
actually help our gut.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's pretty cool.
It is.
It all makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, it's all connected.
Yeah, as we were going through all this research
Right.
for this deep dive,
Yeah.
we came across some really interesting people
Oh,
that have embraced this whole idea of healing with food.
yeah. Like who?
So one of them is Yah'ki Awakened.
Okay, I've heard that name.
Yeah, he talks a lot about an alkaline diet.
Right. So he's all about like balancing your body's pH levels
Yeah.
with the food that you eat.
Okay.
And he also talks about the vibrational impact of food.
Oh, what does that mean?
So he believes that certain foods have like a higher vibration,
Okay.
and that can positively impact your energy
Okay.
and your overall well-being.
So, like, what makes food have a higher vibration?
It's a little bit of a complex topic,
Okay.
but there are charts and things that categorize foods
Okay.
based on their alkaline or acidic properties.
Interesting.
But it is something that's still being debated in the scientific community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So it's good to be a little bit skeptical.
always good to be skeptical.
Yeah. And then there's Dr. Sebi.
Oh, Dr. Sebi, yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah, he had a very specific approach to healing with food.
Yeah, he was a big believer in using a plant-based diet to cleanse the body and promote healing.
Okay. And I was reading that he thought, like,
Yeah.
all disease stems from mucus buildup
Yes.
in the body,
Mucus is the enemy.
and that certain foods would make that mucus worse.
Exactly.
So he had, like, a really strict diet.
Yeah, it was pretty strict.
No animal products.
Right?
Processed foods, even some fruits and veggies weren't allowed.
Yeah, he had a very specific list
Wow, it
of
sounds
approved foods.
intense.
It was definitely intense.
Yeah.
But, he had a lot of followers
Yeah.
who swear by his methods.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting
It is.
because it just goes to show that, like,
Yeah,
there's so many different ways to approach
absolutely.
health and healing.
And it's important to keep an open mind.
Yeah, I think the key takeaway is, like,
Yeah.
we shouldn't just blindly follow any one person's advice.
Right.
It's about, like, taking all the information
Exactly.
and then making an informed decision.
Yes, informed decisions are key.
Yeah, for yourself.
And always consult with your doctor,
Of course. Yeah.
Make sure you're doing what's right for you.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential downsides of, like, conventional food.
right.
We've looked at the benefits of whole foods and herbs.
Yeah.
And we've even talked about, like, gut health and the gut microbiome.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
But there's one more piece of this puzzle
Okay.
that I want to explore.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Growing our own food.
Oh, yeah.
What about that?
That's a great one.
Yeah.
There's something so empowering about growing your own food,
Yeah.
like connecting with nature,
Yeah.
getting your hands dirty, and, actually nurturing something from a seed
Yeah.
into food that you can eat.
It's like a whole different level
But
of
it's
connection
just so
to
sweet.
your food.
Yeah, you're not just buying it at the store. You're
Yeah.
actually involved in the whole process.
Yeah, and you know exactly what went into it.
Exactly. You control the soil,
Yeah.
the seeds, the water.
Yeah. No mystery ingredients.
No pesticides.
No pesticides.
Unless you choose to use them.
Right, yeah. But, like, I have to admit, like,
Yeah.
when I think about gardening, I kind of get a little overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a lot of space.
Right.
I'm not really sure what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's a common feeling.
Yeah.
But, you don't need acres of land to
Oh.
grow your own food.
Okay.
You can do it on a balcony.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
A sunny windowsill.
Wow.
You can get really creative.
Okay.
Pots, vertical gardens, hanging baskets.
Okay. So you can, like,
The possibilities are endless.
make it work for your space.
Exactly.
It's about finding what works for you.
And like even if you just start with a couple herbs
Uh-huh.
in some pots.
That's a great place to start.
Yeah.
Herbs are easy,
Yeah.
and they can really transform your cooking.
Okay. I'm feeling a little bit more inspired now.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, to maybe try to grow some of my own food.
Yeah. And you'll be surprised at how much joy it brings.
Okay.
It's very therapeutic. Okay, so before we get too carried away with our garden plans,
Right.
let's get back to these sources
Okay.
and see what else we can learn about this whole healing with food thing.
Sounds good. Let's dive back in.
So, I keep thinking
Yeah.
about all those people
Yeah.
like me,
Uh-huh.
who live in apartments,
Right.
can we really like
Yeah.
get into this whole
You totally can.
growing our own food thing? If we
Yeah.
don't have like,
You don't need a big backyard to grow your own food. Like,
no.
even just a couple pots of herbs
Oh,
on your windowsill
okay.
can bring so much life
Yeah.
and fresh flavor
Yeah.
into your kitchen.
Yeah. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking like raised beds and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have the space.
Yeah. You got to work with what you got.
Exactly.
Yeah. Start small.
Okay.
Experiment, you know?
Yeah.
See what works in your space.
Yeah. And I bet it's so satisfying.
Oh, it is.
Even growing a little bit.
So satisfying.
Your own food.
Like you're actually participating
Yeah.
in nourishing yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's a skill set that, we've had for centuries.
Yeah.
Like it's in our DNA to want to grow things.
It is. It is.
Nurture things.
Speaking of nurturing,
Yeah.
we were talking earlier about gut health.
Right.
And like how it's not just about digestion.
No, it's so much more than that.
It impacts like our mental and emotional well-being.
It's amazing how connected everything is.
Yeah.
The gut-brain connection is like a huge area of research right now.
Yeah.
And it's really showing us how much power the bacteria in our gut have over our mood, our cognition, even our immune system.
So it's like our gut has a mind of its own.
It kind of does.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So if we want to like heal with food,
Right.
we got to take care of our gut.
Yeah, you got to have a healthy gut.
It's like the foundation.
Okay, and you mentioned probiotics and prebiotics.
Those are your key players.
Or remind me what those are again?
Probiotics are like the good bacteria themselves.
Okay.
And you get those from fermented foods.
Oh, yeah.
Like sauerkraut, kimchi, yogurt, kombucha.
Okay.
All those fermented goodies.
Okay, and prebiotics.
Prebiotics are like the food for the good bacteria.
Okay.
So that would be like your garlic.
Oh, yeah.
Your onions.
Okay.
Asparagus leeks.
So they can like thrive.
Yeah, they help the good bacteria thrive.
So it's like a good relationship.
Yeah, it's a symbiotic relationship.
We feed them and they feed us.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good system.
And it's delicious.
Yeah.
Like all those foods are so good.
Yeah.
You can incorporate them into so many different dishes.
Yeah, I'm realizing like this doesn't have to be complicated. It can just be like
simple changes.
Yeah, simple changes.
That make a big difference.
Yeah.
It's about finding what works for you.
Yeah. And like
and what you enjoy.
Yeah, and what you enjoy.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like
okay.
a restrictive, crazy diet.
Right.
It can just be like
sustainable.
Yeah, sustainable and enjoyable.
Enjoyable. Yeah.
You know, but I keep thinking back to all that stuff.
Yeah.
About conventional food.
Right.
And how it's like potentially making us sick.
Yeah.
And it's kind of overwhelming.
I know it can feel that way.
Yeah, like there's so much that's
out of our control.
Yeah.
It feels like. Yeah. But I think the key is to focus on what we can control.
Okay.
Like what we choose to buy.
Yeah.
What we choose to cook.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, it's about like taking back our power.
Yes.
A little bit.
Taking back your power.
Yeah.
Becoming an informed consumer.
Yeah. And making conscious decisions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about reclaiming your health.
Yeah.
And your well-being. One bite at a time.
I like that.
Yeah.
One bite at a time.
Yeah.
And those little choices, they have a ripple effect.
Huh.
Not just on your own health,
but
on the environment.
Yeah.
And on your community.
It all makes a difference.
It all matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel empowered.
Good.
Like this deep dive. It's really changing my perspective.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's about expanding our awareness.
Yeah, it's not just about the food. It's like
it's about a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's about a way of being.
Yeah, more conscious.
Yeah.
More connected.
More connected. More intentional.
And ultimately, like, more fulfilling.
More fulfilling, yes.
You know, and speaking of choices, we were talking about Yah'ki Awakened and Dr. Sebi earlier.
They both had very specific ideas about how to heal with food.
Yeah, and it's important to, like, take their advice with a grain of salt.
Yeah, they offer valuable insights.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that, what works for one person might not work for another.
Yeah, like Dr. Sebi's.
Yeah. His diet was very
strict,
restrictive, no animal products, no processed foods, very limited fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone.
No, definitely not.
But, it's interesting to learn about
and I think like
these different approaches.
It's about listening to your body.
Yes.
And finding what works for you.
Exactly. Bio-individuality is key.
Yeah. What's that mean?
It means that we're all different.
Okay.
We have different needs, different genetics, different lifestyles.
Yeah.
So what works for one person might not work for another.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not about following
rules.
Yeah, rules.
Yeah.
It's about being mindful.
Mindful awareness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of like how the food
makes us feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tuning into those signals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, it feels empowering.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in control.
Yeah.
You're not just following someone else's dogma.
Exactly.
You're figuring out what works for you.
I love that.
Yeah, it's about taking ownership of your health.
Yeah.
And your well-being. Inspired to like take action.
That's what I like to hear.
But before we wrap up this whole deep dive, I want to ask you one more thing.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot.
We have.
In this deep dive. Yeah. Like a lot of stuff.
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
About healing with food.
If you had to like sum it all up.
Yeah.
What would be like the one thing?
The one thing.
That you want our listeners to take away?
You know, I think it boils down to this food can be either medicine or poison.
Oh, wow.
It really can.
Yeah.
And I think by becoming more aware of like what we're putting into our bodies and how it's affecting us, we can make choices that nourish us rather than deplete us.
Yeah. And it's like a big responsibility to like make those good choices.
It is a big responsibility.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be overwhelming.
Okay, good.
Like it's not about being perfect.
Okay.
It's about finding what works for you.
Yeah.
What you enjoy.
We've talked about so many different like approaches and philosophies.
Right. There's no shortage of information out there.
No.
On this topic.
And sometimes it feels like
overwhelming.
Yeah, like where do I even start?
Right. I get that.
Yeah.
But I think the key is to remember that there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Okay.
Like we are all unique individuals and we have to find what works for us.
So it's about like experimenting a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like be your own science experiment.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. You know, try different things.
Uh-huh.
See how you feel.
Yeah.
Pay attention to your body.
So like listening to our bodies is a big part of this.
Yes.
Huge part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because our bodies are always giving us signals. We just have to learn how to listen to them.
Yeah. So it's like we have this inner wisdom.
We do.
That can guide us.
Absolutely. We have all the answers within us.
So like if you could go back in time.
You know, that's a good one.
And like whisper a little piece of advice.
Yeah.
In your younger self's ear.
Yeah.
What would it be?
About this whole like healing with food thing.
Oh, about healing with food?
Yeah.
I would probably tell myself to slow down and savor the experience of eating. Like really engage all your senses. You know, take your time, chew your food, and appreciate the nourishment and the pleasure.
Yeah, it's so easy to just like
rush through meals.
Yeah, just shovel it in.
And multitask.
Yeah.
Not even pay attention to what we're eating.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's doing us a disservice.
Yeah.
Because when we slow down, we can actually connect with our food.
We can appreciate it.
Yeah.
We can digest it better.
Yeah.
And we can actually get more nourishment from it.
Yeah. I love that advice.
Yeah, it's simple but powerful.
Yeah.
So yeah, slow down.
Slow down.
And savor.
And savor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is some great advice.
I try.
I think that's a great note to end on.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, it's been a pleasure.
On this deep dive into healing with food.
Yeah, this was a good one.
Yeah, we hope you learned some stuff.
Yeah.
And got inspired.
To take better care of yourself.
Take better care of yourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until next time.
See ya.
Keep exploring. Keep listening to your body.
Yeah.
And keep nourishing yourself.
Yes, nourish yourself.
With the abundance that nature provides.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.